What's happening, fam? L.A.R. movement still moving. Book entitled Lessons from a Non-Custodial Father. Amazon Kindle Create Space. Subscriber told me I need to put the link in the description box. I need to work on that. I need to do that. So I hear your point. This video is entitled The Single Black Woman / Mother is Overwhelmed. I had a conversation with my dad because I had to have a conversation with my son's mother. And even with the book, I learned a lot of things I learned things on my own. I also learned things from other fathers going through that, including my father. So he tells me, he said, it's hard to be hard on him because as he got older, he realized that these women are not, you could say some of these women are bad on purpose and their pride getting away, and some of them are just overwhelmed and they can't see past their nose. I ain't trying to be mean when I say that, I'm just saying it. And I had to think about it and change my perspective at that point. Like, you know what? It makes sense because I had to go back to the women that I've dated who were single women and single mothers, and the bulk of them were overwhelmed. Now, there's a lack of empathy because women have been running around championing that they're the backbone of the community, they're the mother and the father, they don't need a man, and they're independent, and I can do bad all by myself. And that goes into the us men like, all right, that's what you want to go down that road, fine. Which taking on that masculinity, they don't never think about if you're the mother and the father, let's use that as an example, then you're only half of a parent because you're not a father and you're only being half of a mother because you're trying to take the other half of your natural mothering instinct and make it fatherly instinct. So the kid that's around you only has half a mom. That goes the same when you're dating a woman. I'm like a woman and a man. I'm masculine. For one, don't no guy want to be with no masculine woman. For two, you're only half of the woman you're supposed to be. And then he brought up the point that this is partially the reason for interracial relationships is because women of other ethnicities know their limitations. They know they're not men. So they can tell a man, look, I'm overwhelmed. I can't do all this. I'm a woman. I can't do all of these things. And so it's easier for men to step in that space. Now, also I attribute it to, older women not telling younger women this is not a good idea. Because I think it's a good thing. It's a duality in black girls rock, black girl magic. She's a strong, independent woman. She can do everything on her own. Don't depend on no man. See, when you do that, you don't give limitations. And you don't say, look, there's certain things you just not equipped to handle, and you're not as efficient as a man when you do them. It just is what it is. And because you don't see men walking around doing feminine things, because it's just not gonna, you don't see men walking around, I'm the mother and the father, because it just don't, no. I don't need a woman because, no, it comes off silly. So at the end of the day, I look at it like, yeah, when I'm out there and I was talking to people, they were overwhelmed. They are overwhelmed now, working harder than they have to work because they're trying to prove. That's the thing. I really don't know what they're trying to prove, or who they're. I don't know what they're trying to prove, and at the same time, I don't know who they're trying to prove it to. Because a lot of times, the kids when it comes to parenting, the kids wind up messed up. So then you can't. That didn't work out right. The relationships wind up messed up. That didn't work out right. They're chasing this masculine power, doesn't work out right. You know, it's like what anomaly are y'all looking for that'll make y'all all real, you know, cool? Okay, one woman finally did it, and we can all put it down, because the overwhelming majority is failing miserably and not telling the other generations. Like I think older women raised their younger women to hate men out of spite, but never told them that they were overwhelmed when they were telling them all these things. And now these women are finding this out on their own, and they can't go back to the same women that taught them these bad habits, because guess what? A lot of times these older women get, after they mellow out, and ironically a man comes into their life when their kids almost grown, then, you know, they basically raised a train wreck, and they can't stop it. And now they can't tell the child that they raised to be to put themselves in a situation that will overwhelm them. They can't reel them back in, because they done already sent them off 100 miles and running. They're just a juggernaut at this point. So, and then when we put the responsibility back on women, like, what y'all gonna do about this? I hate to say this, but women just completely try to ignore it, drop the ball, deflect, defend it, you know, just act like they don't see it. Kind of like dealing with racist people, you know. You can see the racism, but it's like, I don't know what you're talking about. What? All lives matter. You know, it's like that. And unfortunately, we can't fix these problems or these situations with our women until our women can admit that they just overwhelmed. They took on a role that they shouldn't have took on, and it's kicking their ass. And just say, hey, can't do it. If y'all would say, hey, we can't do it, we overwhelmed, you can put the burden back on the men's shoulders easily. But some of y'all just don't get that. All right.